Okay, welcome to part 2 of the notes. We're almost done. We have example 3 and 4 to work through. So example 3 is just like example 2. We're doing composites, but instead of equations, we have a graph. So like I said, it's not hard, but it can get confusing. So we are solving for f of g of minus 3. So what do we solve for first? We always work from the inside out. So first we have to solve for
G of negative 3.
good. So g of negative 3. So we go to the graphs. This is kind of like what we did last week. You go to the graph. You're looking at the g graph. On the g graph, when x equals minus 3, what's the y value for the g graph? 4. So g of not minus 3 is 4. Are we done the question? No. Now we solve for f of g of 3, which is 4. So f of 4 is, what's f of 4? You're looking at the f graph, Nicholas.
0.
Good. F of 4 is 0. When x is 4, y is 0 for the f graph. Okay, so that's why if you did your homework last week, it should be easier this week to do that. Okay, so the final answer is 0. Let's try a couple more doing graphs. The next question, what are we solving for, Matthew? B?
F of G of 1.
Good. So the first thing we have to solve for is g of 1. Looking at your graphs, what is g of 1? Right?
0.
Oh, g of 1.
Oh, wait, no, we did the
Oh yeah, g of 1 is 0, correct. Then we solve for f of 0. What is f of 0? 2. F of 0 should be 2.
Oh, 2.
Okay, I think I can fit the other 2 on this side. I don't think you can see here at home. Now we're doing g of f of 0. So the first thing we have to solve for is, first thing we solve for is f of 0. We always work inside out. We just did that. F of 0 is 2. Now we solve for g of, and g of 2 is, now it's not quite an exact number, so we'll have, oh no it is, g of 2 is 1. Yeah, that's, okay, and the last one for this part, we have g of f of minus 4. The first thing we solve for is f of minus 4. F of minus 4 is, oh, that's not quite a nice number, is it, hey? F of minus 4 is, it would be, f of 4 is 2.8. Okay, I'll give you nice numbers to work with on your test. So now we solve for g of 2.8. Well, that's a weird number. Why did we choose that? That's the way it is. So let's approximate. G of 2.8 is roughly, g is 2.8. Yeah, about 1, maybe about 1.5. And I'll give you numbers that aren't decimal. Okay, so example 1, you might have to do composites where it's just equations. Example 2, it's equations with numbers. Example 3, it's graphs with numbers. Well, what's left? Haven't we covered everything? No. Example 4 is a classic question. That makes a really good test question, really good exam question. So again, we have 2 functions. The f function, where we at? Oh, and the f function for 4 is, the f function for example 4 is, the f function for example 4. Good, and the g function, Owen, is, okay. So they can give you 2 equations, and they ask you to graph the composite y equals g of f of x. So sometimes you have to get the equation first and then graph the equation that you've had. So we are putting the f function into the g function. What's the g function, Ben? What's on the board? The G function is, again, don't write this down yet. That's the G function, but we're putting the F into the G. So we replace the X here with, good, X squared minus 2. Now, whoops, oh, be careful. Oh, this is hard. Mondays are hard. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, here we go, got it. That only took me like 5 times. So, the entire thing gets replaced. So, you have to distribute the 4 to both parts. So, Gerald, that would give us, when you distribute? Keep going. Good, so Gerald, 8 minus 8 plus 1? Minus 8 plus 1? Minus 7. Oh, okay. So, that doesn't look nice. X squared minus 7. This is grade 11 pre-cal. What shape is x squared minus 7? X squared minus 7 is what kind of graph? That's a parabola shifted which way? Up, down, left, or right? Minus 7. Good. Oh, why did I lose the 4? 4x squared minus 7. So I have the graph there for you. You could do a table of values. Usually it's a nice, easy one to do. If you can't remember how to graph from grade 11 pre-cal, they have their test this week about how to graph quadratic functions. So I'll just do a quick sketch. Right there, the vertex is at 0, minus 7. And then we do ask for the domain and range. Hopefully you remember how to do domain and range from grade 11 pre-cal. What's the domain of this graph? Negative infinity to infinity, positive infinity. And the range? Good. Okay, so that was quick. But that's the composite functions, and that concludes the notes for your unit. So the test that your class is writing on Monday covers everything from day 1, translations, up until today. And the test that group A is writing this week on Thursday, again, covers the same thing. Okay. So I'll